So before I show y'all the trade that passed me my challenge, this is the dashboard right here. As you can see, 10% profit. Start date, it says the 23rd, but it's going based on their time zone. So I took this trade on the 22nd. It ended on the 23rd. As you can see, I did not complete the minimum trading days because they have a minimum trading day of 5, which I'm only putting 0.01. Today is going to be the 4th day. When I first started this trade, I was planning on entering a trade and it didn't tag me in. This was that trade right here. It was on a 1-minute time frame. One thing that I tell y'all about my strategy is it works on all time frames, any market. So my original plan was to enter this on a 1-minute time frame because I did not expect to pass this in one trade, right? I was planning on entering a 1-minute time frame so I can just pass the challenge faster because I'm getting more opportunities on a lower time frame. The lower the time frame you go, the more opportunities you will have. So, I tried to enter it. It got it in for one account for y'all down grown for y'all, and it didn't get me in. I was so sick, but I didn't let the emotions affect me. I showed up the next day and looked for an opportunity. So this was my thought process. If you know, the way how I view the market is based on the entry time frames. There's certain time frames that I use based on your entry time frame. So if I'm entering on a 1-minute, I'm going to use 2 other different time frames, which you can figure out what time frame is best for you if you want to trade my strategy in my mentorship. So you can join my mentorship if you want to know like what time frames, like the whole process on my strategy. But it's on YouTube on what I use for 15-minute entries. So the 2 other time frames I use for the 15-minute entry. So if I'm a 15-minute trader, which I am, I took this trade on my prop accounts, my funded accounts, and this challenge. So this made me good money on that my funded accounts. So I use the 1 hour and the daily, right? And basically what I want to see is, I know USD JPY is overall bullish. One thing to see the overall direction, I do say you can use a monthly time frame. It's a good way to see the overall direction. And as you can see the overall direction with this indicator right here. This indicator is called the MentorFX indicator. MentorFX is my mentor. I learned from him back in 2022. And yeah, so as you can see right here, we have bullish breaks. We have a break right here. The indicator updated the low right here. We have another break right here. So this is the high. It broke right here, made this the low. And then we have another break right here. So we know that's bullish breaks to the top side. So USD JPY is on a bullish trend overall. Now that being said, the time frames I use currently based on the 15-minute time frame is that daily. And what I want to see on this daily time frame is price is moving above that 10 SMA and the 20 SMA. And the reason for that is usually in a nice trend, you will see price trending above these MAs. So I'm using MAs as a tool to guide where I want to enter a trade based on, like, is it bullish or is it bearish? So now I'm on a 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, what I want to see is something called stage 1s and stage 2s. So stage 1 is basically a sideways moving market. Stage 2 is an expansion out of that market. And price repeats itself where it moves in stage 1s and stage 2s. Stage 1s, stage 2s. And then we might have a break of a low and stuff like that. That's how that looks trash right there. That's how the market moves. Stage 1s, stage 2s, right? So my goal is basically to enter on the stage 2. I mean, not the stage 2, the stage 1, where price is moving sideways, and the expectation that price will make an expansion phase out of it. Now, there's certain rules for me to decide if a particular stage 1 is good to go on a lower time frame to take an entry, because if I don't do this, I can potentially get in a market condition where it's not really a stage 1, it's just a market condition that is like just chopping around. So that being said, right, what I noticed here was we have a nice momentum that came into the market, right? We have nice momentum. That is something I want to see. Nice momentum came into the market, and now we have this stage 1 occurring where price started moving sideways, right? We have that sideways moving action, and I'm not gonna really go too into depth because that is for the mentorship and everything like that. But I'm gonna be giving y'all a decent amount to actually understand. So we have this stage 1 right here, and I waited. I think, let me see, when did I go on a lower time frame? Around this area, yeah, around this area. I liked how price looked, so what I did was I drew a general area that I wanted to see price to break out of. Why? Because like I said, from a stage 1, we should expect a stage 2 to happen. So if you picture a move like a stage 2 happening, you can kind of see it. It's like if you imagine like price expanding out of this area, you can see it because based on the previous price action that happened, we have momentum move, pause, and we might have a momentum move at least to a like 1 to 2 or something like that. So it's a good amount of a move for me to at least take a partial. So that being said, I went on a lower time frame, which is my entry time frame, and it's a 15-minute. So if you watch my channel, you know my entry setup is a buy stop of a high. It's called the impulse, the correction, and the impulse, right? Where's my path tool? Basically, in a bullish trend, right? We have a move down, right? We have an impulse, we have the correction, and I will look to buy stop that high right here. You can call this buy stop and demand, buy stop structure is all the same thing, and that's what I basically look for. Because in the event that price really wants to continue this overall trend, it should not return to this demand area. Because if you notice, most of the times in a true trend where it's just going and going, it rarely pulls back to zones. You would notice that price pulls back to zones in stage 1, and which you can kind of see right here, price pulling back to zones, areas, and stuff like that. But once it goes, it's gonna go most of the time. So you can see it right here. We had the impulse area, we had the correction area right there, and I was looking for a buy stop of that high. So we wait in, and I got tagged in right there. So I used to manage with a 1 to 1.5 break even area and a set target of a 1 to 3. Now that is still valid. I do tell people to test both of this. My new way of management or the old way is still valid, and see which one you prefer, right? So what I look for to manage this trade to break even is I want to see momentum come into the market, a pause, and momentum to break the previous high when it pauses. So we had momentum come in, more momentum. We had a pause right there, so it went down a bit and closed like that. So I just wanted to see price break above that high with momentum. And then at that point is when I broke even the trade. Now for management, I go back on the 1 hour time frame, right? And basically I manage it, I partial into strength. And what do I mean by that? I want to see three candles, and usually the first 3 candles is going to have the momentum. So we have 1 candle right here, we have 2 candles right here, and then the 3rd candle I will partial. Now it still depends. If the third candle has to close above at a 1 to 2 or above a 1 to 2. So if a 3rd candle happens and it so happens that it doesn't close at a 1 to 2 or above a 1 to 2, I'll wait for the next few candles or the next candle to meet that rule. And basically when I had the 3rd candle, price closed way above that 1 to 2, which allowed me to take a partial at a 3.89, which gave me a 1.94 R on that trade. Now don't think I mentioned this. How much was I risking on this challenge? I was risking 1.5% on this challenge because 1, I do have experience trading. I've been trading for 4 years, and 2, I'm okay if I lose this challenge. 1.5% is very high for a challenge to be risking on, and I'm confident even if I were to lose this challenge, it's still okay with me. It's not going to affect anything. So that's 2 things that you got to consider when you're considering how much to risk is how much can you afford to lose on the challenge, and like, are you even profitable with trading? And yeah, so at this point, I took my first partial, and the way how I was trailing the next position is basically I'll close in the next position when price closes below the 10 SMA. Now the black line is the 10 SMA, just to let y'all know, and basically I was just letting it run, do its thing, and price just ended up shooting up, shooting up. And I recorded this all on my story. I always record my trades. Alright, and I closed. Let's see, where did I close? I closed right here. So at this point right here, I had moved my stop loss right here. It's not something I'm gonna discuss because it didn't break right here, but it was something I do discuss in my mentorship. So I moved my stop loss right here, and price closed bearish right here below that 10 SMA, and then at this point right here was when I closed the full position, when price closed right here. Actually, that's where I closed the position for my funded accounts. I didn't close the position right here for my challenge account. I closed the position. I'm not sure where exactly, but I know I closed the position somewhere here, somewhere here. And the reason why I closed the rest of the position here is because I had hit the target, so it doesn't make sense for me to keep being in the trade. So my idea was either, because when I saw it running like this, I was either thinking either this one trade is gonna pass my challenge, or if I get my rules to close the trade before it hits that 10% target, then I'm gonna follow my rules. But yeah, so I basically closed the trade somewhere right here when I hit the target, and that's how I passed my challenge. So I'm gonna be updating you on phase 2. I haven't got the details for phase 2 yet, only because I do need to displace those 0.01 for tomorrow and today